Hello people of the tube. Today I have the first of two videos in which I'll be looking at the online daily races. In this video I'll be talking about how I go about preparing for a new daily race, which are released every Monday, and in the second video I will drop into the daily race B to see how I can climb out of the initial driver and standards rating levels and back into the C driver rating and S standards rating levels where I am usually. For quite some time I've been working through the licenses, the menu books and the World Circuit races, and I still have a good number of World Circuit races to complete and to put on my channel, and I'll get to those as quickly as possible. But I feel that now is the right time to get back online and racing real people. So let's get into the video. So within the game, the daily races are in the sport area of the game, and the daily races are split into three. You've got the race A that doesn't affect your driver rating or your standards rating, and then you've got race B and race C. And it's race B that I'm working on at the moment, and that does affect our DR and SR rating, so I really want to try and get as good as I can on this track before I actually go live racing with people. So one of the first ways is to pop into the World Circuits and to do the circuit experience. So I'm going to find Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in here. Come down to the circuit experience, and you can see that I have actually already done this and got gold all the way through. But you'll also notice that we're doing this in the Group 3 car. Now the circuit experience is split up in this instance into 3 sectors and then the full lap. So you can do each sector and nail that as much as you can. And you can run the demonstration as I've got on the screen here, so that you can see the best lines and the best ways of actually taking this sector, and then at the end you can run the full lap to see how you do. And that's great for learning the track, the undulations, the corners, etc. But I do tend to find this limiting in its help, because for race B, daily race B that we're looking at this particular week, you're going to be running a Group 4 car, not a Group 3 car, and they're very, very different. The Group 3 cars are so much faster, therefore you're entering corners quicker than you are in a Group 4, so you've got to adjust your braking points, turning points, and you've got to basically adjust your driving style accordingly. So if you run this over several minutes and you nail it, and then you jump into the daily race, you're going to have some period of time where you're going to need to adjust. So you've seen the demonstration, and then this is how I'm actually running this with the Ghost. So I'm chasing down the Ghost to try and get gold. But you'll notice how much faster this is than the actual daily race that we'll probably have a little look at later in the video. But the circuit experiences will gain you some useful credits, and getting bronze is very easy, getting silver is fairly easy, getting gold is a little bit more difficult. So just work on getting bronze for the moment if you're new to the game. So that's the first. The second is to go into the multiplayer and the lobby. Now in here at the beginning of the week, and I'm doing this towards the end of the week so I'm going to struggle, you can create your own room and set up the parameters to match the daily race that you're working on. But normally earlier in the week somebody has already done that. One of the top YouTubers or one of the top racers has normally set up a room which has got the same characteristics of the daily race. So I'm just picking the track here, and we've only got one option, so I'm just going to pick that for now. But you can go in and you can either join their room and race, or you can join their room and spectate. So if we just go into joining this particular person's room, the game will put you into this initial screen where you've got your chat history, and you can see the players on the right hand side that have entered. But at the bottom here you'll notice that we've got the little spectate button. And if we click that, then we can actually go in and view any one of the races. If we go to the replay options and you turn on the display racing info and do display all, then we come out of there and we go back into the replay. Then you can see how they're braking, how they're accelerating, what gear they're using. And if we then change the view so that we then have the view from inside the car, and I prefer the one with the dials that we're looking at now, then you can get a much better feel for where those braking points and turning points are. Now, this person may well be a lot quicker than you, so what I tend to do is to try and find somebody of a similar DR rating to myself, and then I'll sit and watch them, or I'll find a DR rating that is slightly better than myself. So when I'm a C, I'll often look for a B rated driver so that I can get some better pointers, because I tend to find that if I choose an A or an A plus rated driver, I struggle then to replicate what they have been doing. And you can see here that I'm just cycling through some of the races in this particular lobby, so I can see how they're approaching corners with other traffic, how they're negotiating, how they're defending, and all these sorts of things at this particular track. And I tend to find, particularly on a Monday or even a Sunday at the weekend, if people have got these lobbies set up, I find that to be one of the most rewarding ways of preparing myself for one of the daily races. So when we go into the daily race, we need to select our vehicle, and I'm going to use the Silvia that I have right now. And then one of the first things I do is I go into the rankings, and I go to the global rankings, and then I'll find somebody that is close to me. Now, these top players, they're a good 2-3 seconds faster than me, but I normally find that somewhere around about the 400 to 500 mark there will be somebody that has got a replay or a video, and you can tell that by the little video symbol, and I'll just grab that person and I'll then go into the replay, very similar to what we've just done within the lobby. I'll turn on the race info so we can see everything, and then I'll flick back to view them racing in the car with that information. Now, this is an actual qualifying lap for this particular racer at this track, with all of the dynamics of the daily race in there. So balance of power is in there, you've got your corner cuttings in there, penalties, etc. And you can see now all of the lines that one of these top racers are taking, their gears choices for the corners, their braking points, turning points, where they're accelerating, how they're accelerating, and the like. So I'll study that for a little while, and then when I'm feeling that I've written down a few notes, or I've got a good idea of how they're actually running the race, I'll then come back out of there and I'll go into the race. But one of the first things that I will do after obviously entering for the race is I'll go into the qualifier myself. So I'm going to do my own qualifying, and I'll maybe run a day or two to get my qualifying time down as much as I possibly can, so that I am starting further up the grid, and that gives you a better opportunity to have a decent race rather than getting into all the argy-bargy. But one of the things that I will do is I will try and find somebody with the same car that I'm running with a video. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just trying to cycle through some of the slower times just to try and find somebody that is running the Silvia but that has also got a video that they've posted. Struggling to find one at the moment, so I'm at 600 at the moment, and 125 is still, a good couple of seconds faster than me, so I'm having to drop down to the 300s to find one. There's one there, so we'll grab that, and we're going to load that person's ghost. That means that we're going to be able to see their ghost car while we are actually running. I'm going to go into the settings first of all, and into the ghost settings. I'm going to set the system up so that my ghost is off and the loaded ghost is on, and I'm going to reset the ghost position at each sector, and I'm going to put them half a second ahead of me. So if they get too far ahead now, their ghost is going to come back to me so I can continue to chase for each sector. And putting them half a second ahead of me means that I'm always going to be chasing them, and there's not much chance that I'm actually going to catch them and then get into the problem where their ghost is overlaying me and I'm struggling to see my turning points, etc. So here you can see the ghost is ahead and I'm chasing that car down. If they've got brake lights, then obviously you can get a better idea of where they're braking, etc. Obviously in this view you can't see what gears they're using, and that's why I tend to use their replay to see their gears, etc. And at this point I should know what gear I need. So for this corner, cross there, down into third, then get it up into the fourth gear as we go over the top here. And then when we come down to the next, you're just seeing the ghost reset there. When we come down to this one, I'm looking for the braking point, and I'm going to come down into third gear because I know I need third gear, but I'm also now watching the ghost and chasing the ghost. Now, one other tip that I will give you is before you actually go racing online, do a number of qualifying laps, a good number of qualifying laps without the ghost car. Otherwise, you're going to get to rely on driving to the ghost car, and then when you come in the real race, you come to do the real race, you're not going to have that ghost car there. You're going to have real cars that you are racing, and that's where your race etiquette is going to come in, and you're going to, and your racecraft, and you're going to need to do decent overtakes, etc. And you're not going to have that ghost car in front of you to help. So my tip would be to use the ghost car to learn the braking and turning points of the track, but once you've got those down, do your own qualifying runs without the ghost car. That would be my number one takeaway from this video. If you do anything, if you can take anything away from this video, hey, if you do take anything away from this video and you find it useful, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button, because it really does help the channel no end. And that's basically how I go about preparing for the daily race. So I'll do the circuit experience. I'll then pop into the lobby and see if there is a lobby that I can run against some real world people, a lobby that's set up with the same characteristics as the daily race. I'll then load up one of the fast racers in the daily race and watch them and see how they're racing in the car that is the same as the car that I plan to run. And then I'll run with their ghost, and then I'll take their ghost off, set my best qualifying lap, and then we bite the bullet and we go into the daily race to do it for real, and that's where the real excitement happens. So that's this video done. In the next video I will be going into my first set of daily races at this particular track. I'm hoping to do that this evening, so hopefully you'll see that video over the next day or two, where I'm hoping to increase my DR rating and my SR rating from the default, the very beginning that you are given when you first start, and making my way up through the order. So please join me for that video coming very soon. Hit the bell button for notifications of when I release that. And as I said before, I am trying to grow this channel, so please consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button for this video if you found it useful. In the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. For now, take care. Bye bye.